Hey, welcome to another episode of the Trying Scotsman podcast. I think this is episode 6. I know obviously I've done more, but I think this is officially the 6th one. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. But there's a couple of things that I just want to kind of quickly cover off. The first is the BT affiliate trial that I'm in. They recently added the Xbox Series X and Razer headset bundle. So at the moment, the discount code that you can get through my link, that's the only console deal that you can apply it towards at the moment. So the fact that obviously they've added that in, I'm hoping will mean that if this trial goes is successful, that the codes can be rolled out to everything that's on the BT shop. So you can pick up a maximum of 25 quid discount. So obviously straight away on that bundle you would get the £25 discount, and obviously it helps support me. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was I've been focusing, I think I might have mentioned this on the last episode, but I've been focusing a lot more on the YouTube content. So I've come up with like a schedule for each week. I've got quite a lot of content banked already, especially for the Hitman stuff. But there's going to be some sort of additional ones. I think because of the number of game keys that I potentially I'm kind of getting backed up again with a long list of titles, so I might need to kind of either rejig the schedule or put out like I guess bonus uploads, or like for the Giza Swatch maybe one earlier in the day and one later in the day, because at the moment, so at the time of recording this, at 6 p.m. tonight UK time, the next A Hit is a Hit, the Hitman series, that goes live, and then Giza Swatch will go live at 12 on Friday. So I could maybe do like a 6 p.m. upload on the Friday as well. I've got some other things that I want to cover as well. Kind of just filling in the gaps in the weekday. So potentially at the moment, I've got Monday, which is A Hit is a Hit. Tuesday, which is the podcast. Wednesday, I've got something in the works just now, but I'll announce that when I've actually got some content ready. Thursday, I was thinking would be like the random content, so just again the catch-up days, depending on what they are. And then Friday, obviously the Giza Swatch. Weekends, I'm looking to keep free. So I think trying to get something for 7 days a week is too much. I think 5 days a week potentially is too much. So that's why initially Thursday was like a potentially free day. Because I need to get the podcast episodes banked. On top of that, actually, the other thing, there's a third thing I wanted to talk about. On my TikTok page, you can now, I've added like items that I think are relatively decent, relevant for the types of people that watch my videos. Mainly I added things that I could request free samples for, because I figured, well, you know, you got to record videos for them, so it makes sense if I promote the things. I think at the moment my viewership is too low because I've been rejected for a few. To be fair, some were quite expensive, so it was a long shot anyways. But Obviously, if there are any items on the TikTok shop that you would like to buy, have a check on my profile, because again, it's another way to help support me. Obviously, I earn a commission for every purchase, so if there's something on the TikTok shop that you would like to buy, but you want to support me and I haven't added it yet, just give me a shout, drop me a message on there, or email me, craig@thetryindscotsman.co.uk, or the usual channels like Twitter and whatnot. And at least then you're getting something that's relevant for you, and at the same time, at no cost to yourself, you're able to support me too. Because I think, obviously, I've kind of stepped away from Twitch for a bit. I haven't been enjoying it. And interestingly enough, the topic of this episode is kind of it kind of loosely links to that, or directly links in some cases. But I know, obviously, anyone that subscribes to me, it's, I'm not giving up on Twitch. Like, I'm not announcing my departure and all that bullshit. I'm just taking some time away. I'm trying to get my head sorted. I'm trying to just get focused on the YouTube stuff, because, I can't do it all. Like, when I'm working a full-time job, like, I managed to get quite a lot done last week. Not as much as I wanted, because my head and that started to go places I didn't really want it to go. And I just didn't have the free time that I wanted or really needed. But anyway, so obviously Twitch does take up a lot of my time, so I'm not too sure what's going to happen streams going forward. But just for transparency for any people that sub, obviously if you want to carry on renewing the sub, that's absolutely fine. The money that I get from content creation, it goes straight back in, so ultimately it does go towards, like the podcast, the YouTube stuff. It's all interlinked, because I use the same equipment. Like, I'm recording this through OBS, on the same mic that I use for streaming and whatnot. So everything goes towards just trying to upgrade my my setup. And a mic is a priority of mine, purely because I need it for the podcast. I need it for streaming regardless. I am tempted to do a bit of a dabble with YouTube, just to kind of maybe catch crowds that I obviously don't necessarily get to do just by putting videos up every now and again. So that might kind of help some channel growth there. I want to try and get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. At the moment, I've got quite a lot of work to go. I'm on, where am I? 136. Which I've been hovering about the 130 somethings. And obviously I'm trying to just get more comfortable doing videos. Like, on the on-cam stuff I'm struggling with. I feel like the on-cam stuff I'm more kind of better doing live. So you might see some inconsistencies across the videos where, like, I might be on cam for some, and it just depends where I'm feeling comfortable. But it's my channel, and it's going to take time to just kind of get it to where I want it to be. So there's going to be a lot of trial and error and stuff. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to try and keep this short, because I'm thinking maybe if I just do shorter episodes, because editing, believe it or not, it does take a while, because I am so picky. And I can't polish a turd, but there's certain things that I spend ages just trying to get to sound right or better. But yeah, the episode title, I've not fully thought about it yet, so it might be obvious, or I might just make it a bit obscure. But it's 10 things I hate about streaming or content creation. They're not in any particular order, although I will keep, I think, the biggest one, the one that would have the number one spot, if I was doing an official top 10 list. Yeah, that one's solid in where it belongs. I think the first one to really talk about is the follow for follow bullshit, or the support for support. And I see this not just on Twitch, but I see it on my socials. You know, you get new followers, which is great. And then maybe, I don't know, I think some have like this timer, like they have a set rule that they go by, like if they haven't been followed back by you within a day or a week or however long that they unfollow you. I think a lot of them probably use unfollow trackers and stuff like that. Or, you know, lists that kind of reconcile like who you follow versus who follows you, so you can highlight which are the sort of outliers, if you want to call it that. The end of the day, like I follow a lot more than follow me, and that's purely because there's a lot more cool people that I'm interested in than obviously find me cool and interesting, which is fine. But I don't look at like fucking ratios and stuff like that. Like I don't want a follow from someone that's just following for the sake of it. Like, if you're not fucking interested in what I've got to say, just fuck off. Like, I'm not following you because I've got absolutely no interest in seeing what you say. And this is a thing, and it was quite hard initially when I started out, because I'd been on Twitter for years before I started streaming. But it was something when I noticed like someone no longer follows me. I did, and I thought we were friends. It did hurt. I'm like, but why? What, are we not friends anymore? Like, what's wrong? And over time, I've come to realize that I can still be friends with people, but just because I don't follow you doesn't mean that I don't like you. You can't follow everybody at the end of the day. Sometimes there's that element of you're following people, and I don't know, maybe your head is in a particular space and you don't need that type of content around you, you know. There might be a case where, you know, you're going through quite a tough time, so you don't need a certain tone in your life, and you don't need to see it on your feed. Obviously there is the mute and stuff like that, but I think sometimes if you forget who you mute and whatnot. But you know, the other thing as well is there's a lot of times that you just assume you've been following people that you ultimately haven't, but they pop up on your feed so often that you just assume that you are following. And it's only like when you maybe go on their profile and you're like, oh shit, I didn't hit that button. But what I'm talking about is literally the people that are, it's just so obvious what they're after. They just want numbers. They don't care how they go about getting it. They might unfollow you once they've hit a milestone. They might keep you around, and as soon as you unfollow, then they'll unfollow and all that bullshit. But the numbers don't mean anything. Like, the amount of people I see brag that I've got 10k, and you look at their tweets and no fucker interacts. Like, some of my tweets get quite a bit of attention, some of mine don't. I don't do it for the attention. It's just my way of speaking my mind, you know. Like, I feel like a lot of the stuff I say, it's just to get it out there. It's just to say it. It's like my version of a diary, I guess. Obviously, there's some times where I will lock the comments just purely because I'm not doing it for the attention. I'm not doing it for the fucking shit that I'm going to go into later on in this list. It's just, I want to say what I've got to say, and that's it. I'm not, you know, it's not up for debate. This is how I feel. I've said it. Leave it the fuck alone. But yeah, just this whole mentality of, well, I follow you, so you should follow me. Like, this whole you owe them something, and it's like just fuck off. Like, tying into that kind of is, well, no, it does actually. The support for support. Like, I subbed to you, so you should sub to me, or I gifted subs in your channel, so next time you come in mine, I expect you to partake in a hype train and all that shit. Like, it doesn't fucking work that way. If you literally are, nobody profits. Like, if you've got X amount of people that are all like gifting subs in your channel, and then you go into their channels and you're gifting, you're all out of pocket. You'd as well just keeping that money in your fucking bank account, because Twitch isn't taking a cut. Do you know what I mean? It's just fucking bollocks. You support who you want to support. You put money towards the people that I guess you feel worthy. There will be times there'll be tons of people that you feel are worthy, but you just can't afford it, and that's just a fucking fact of life. I mean, that's what I use my Prime sub for, is, I tend to choose a different person every month, because I've got my main ones that I subscribe to, two of them that I subscribe on a normal tier 1 subscription, and then I've got my Prime that is just my free one, just to kind of whoever just so happens to catch my attention at the time when my Prime is active, like available, but it's just, you don't need that headwork. You just enjoy what you enjoy. If your only reason to follow someone is with the expectation of getting something back other than to be entertained or to enjoy the views or the content that person's putting out, just fuck off, really. Now, going into the next one, like I said, these ones are in no particular order, but the final one is like the main one, which definitely deserves the place that I've given it. The streaming is easy, or the content creation is easy, bullshit. Again, it's something I kind of touched upon in a previous episode, where it's like, content creation isn't a real job. It's not easy, and it's not easy for so many reasons. And again, I'm going to kind of skirt around things because they're coming up in this list. But you've got the mental health aspect of it. You've got the technological side of it. You've got the energy. You've got the other stuff going on in your life. Now, I'm not a full-time creator, and I struggle at times. Now, I've always said I would love to do this full-time. I'd love this to be my main source of income, but I know deep down that would be stressful, because the money isn't guaranteed every month. Things change. Like at the moment, obviously, viewership is down across the board for loads of people, and the reason for that is it's the summer. You've got some cracking weather. People are going outside. We're free, for want of a better way of putting it. But obviously, the last couple of years we've been locked down. People have been scared to go places, and people were just so run down that finding some light entertainment online was their go-to. But now, when maybe so many things during the pandemic lockdowns and everything have come to a head, like people wanting to shift the weight that they've piled on as a result of working from home and kind of not going outside, trying to better their mental health by getting time outside, get the vitamin D, go for walks, doing stuff with their families, seeing people that they've not been able to see for such a long time, whether it be because of distance or obviously fear of spreading the virus and whatnot. Escapism, I think, is a big thing at the moment, where everything is just so shit right now in the world. You know, you've got all these horrible things happening. You've got people's rights being threatened to be taken off them. So many people at risk of deplorable acts, and not just at risk, people that are actually enduring them right now, you know. So you've got people that are maybe wanting to escape, they're spending less time online, again because of the mental aspect, or because they just need to detox, I guess. But obviously some of the things that I've briefly mentioned, I'm gonna go and talk about anyway. But it isn't easy, you know. It's not easy to motivate yourself, especially when your numbers are lower. It's not easy to motivate yourself, especially when, like, everything that we use costs money, like the electric. So electricity rates have gone up, our bills are going up. So again, unless you're getting money back in, but of course you're less likely to get money back in because everyone else is struggling as well. So it's a catch-22 then. So it's like, you know, you carry on streaming and running up the expenses when you know full well you're not gonna, and you know, I don't do it for the money. The money's good, you know. I enjoy having some extra revenue coming in for doing something that I typically enjoy up until recently. But I could never expect people to continue subscribing to me. Like, if I knew that they were putting themselves at risk of not being able to afford their bills and that by putting money towards me, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I mean, I struggle to sleep as it is, worrying about all manner of stuff. But I couldn't do that with a clear conscience. I would want to return the money, or, you know, send them something back. It's just, you know, people's kindness at times does kind of boggle me. Like, out of all the people you could give money to, or out of all the things that you could maybe spend that money on for yourself, you know, like I've had a couple people drop thousands of bits, hundreds of subs, like gift subs and whatnot, and I don't get it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the fuck out of it, but it's like, you could have maybe put that towards a house or a car, or, you know, obviously put it in savings. But, you know, it's their money, and that's what they do. But I definitely, if anyone ever feels guilty or felt guilty that they can't subscribe to me, don't. I understand. Like, I used to subscribe to a lot more people than I do. Your life comes first. Like, I'd rather have people to interact with, people that enjoy the stuff and give me the enjoyment for doing it, than the money. If I can get both, perfect. But, you know, for my mental health, I need to enjoy what I'm doing, and money doesn't always mean that you enjoy what you're doing. Like, I've always said, like, if I was going to be miserable in a job that paid a bit more than a job I know that would make me happy, provided I know I could make ends meet and that I'm not going to be making a huge mistake, I would gladly take the pay sacrifice, because I'd rather do something I'm happier at doing, you know? But yeah, anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent. But yeah, anyone that says streaming is easy, that you just sit in your arse and you play games and that, there's so much more to it than that. It's not easy to to stay motivated. It's not easy to endure things that I'm gonna go into. It's not easy to find a reason sometimes to do it, to hit that go live button. And I'm struggling lately, and that is feeding into my offline life because I'm not happy, because I don't know what I want to be doing. I don't know, like, I'm lost, and I need to find a muse. I need to find something that gives me that enjoyment again. And I know it'll happen. Like I think we all go through these cycles. Like I've had a really bad week the past week, like mentally, and this week so far, I probably jinxed myself now. But I feel my head is in a better place at the moment until something comes along and fucking kicks me back down. But we go through these cycles, and it's perfectly normal. You just ideally you learn each time, and you develop the sort of coping mechanisms or the things that kind of pull you back out of it to minimize the damage of it, I guess. Anyway, we want to keep this short, so actually, seeing as we've already kind of went a bit deep and dark, we'll stay there because it's pointless coming back out of it to just go straight back in. Trauma dumping. I see it a lot, not so much in my own space, but I have had it. When people come in and they just drop devastating news, and you know, we're not, for the most part, we're not fucking key speakers. We're not people that give TED Talks. We're not qualified in public speaking scenarios. So, like, the last time I had something similar was, I think, were we still watching the Johnny Depp trial? Yeah, we were. And someone came in and told us about another shooting. So there was the Uvalde shooting in Texas. And then someone came in and told us about another one. And they didn't just say, oh, there's been another shooting in so-and-so. They went into detail. And it's just like, right, okay, I can't even remember what I all said. I tried to glaze over it, but also not, like, dismiss it, if that makes sense. Like, because this is the trouble. Like, someone comes in and they say, oh, my mum died of cancer last night. Part of me is like, why the fuck are you here? Like, surely you must have things that you need to be doing, or better things to be doing. But then, obviously, the other part of me is, it's a distraction. They need it as, like, just to maybe take their mind off. They've maybe been busy dealing with family and stuff, or crying into a pillow, or whatever the fuck, and they've just come up for air for 5 minutes. But then at the same time, I'm like, why are you talking about it if it is a distraction? And it's hard because I don't know what I meant to say, because I've got no idea what your relationship was with your mum, or, you know, whoever. Like, obviously, tying in with my week last week. So it was my birthday last Thursday, and my mum's birthday is the day after mine. So my birthday, I've never really been a big fan of birthdays anyways, because I come from a small family. We were never really that well off. And I always kind of felt as a kid a bit embarrassed because I couldn't, you know, we couldn't afford all the fashionable stuff and all the expensive stuff, and I didn't get spoiled in you know, in the same capacity. Like, I got spoiled because my mum and that would go without so that I could have stuff. But obviously when you compare that to the mountains of presents and stuff that other people got. So I've always been used to quite a modest, inexpensive, gift me practical stuff kind of thing. But then obviously as I've grown older, my mum passed, my birthday now is just a continual reminder that she's no longer in the world. And then my youngest daughter's birthday, my mum died a couple days before my daughter was born, my youngest daughter. So my youngest birthday is again a reminder of my mum, and obviously it takes me back to what was going on at the time. Like, literally, my daughter's born a couple days later. I'm driving to Scotland on my own to attend the funeral. You know, leaving a newborn behind. And kind of missing out on that time. And then I've mentioned it before on stream, and I know I've done it in previous podcasts that I've done. But you know, having people giving me their condolences, but then in the same breath offering me congratulations, it was just a very surreal and a horrible experience to be going through. So, but people that wish me a happy birthday, they don't know that, and I try my best to just nod and smile and be like, oh, thank you, but it's hard because I hate my birthday. And some people I feel maybe I can tell them, look, you know, I'm not a big fan, but I'm not doing that for them to feel awkward and be like, oh fuck, I'm really sorry, I you know, you weren't to know unless I've told you before, and even then that was a year ago, so you probably forgot. But obviously, my dad is dead as well. Now, I hated him. I still do. But when he died, I did get upset. But I got upset at me because when he died, I didn't care. I didn't want to take any time off work. I didn't leave work early. Initially I wasn't going to leave work early. My manager at the time said I could go home, that I probably should go home. And I said, no, it's fine. And then a good few hours later, I did end up leaving. But it was because when I was trying to process everything, I was happy he was dead. I was glad he was dead. That was my initial feeling. And then I'm like, but I'm a good person. Or I think I'm a good person. I shouldn't be glad anybody's dead. Unless it's like, you know, someone like Hitler or fucking Tommy Robinson or some bullshit like that. I shouldn't be happy that somebody is dead. That's not a good thing. And that's what fucked with me, and that's what got me upset. So I try to think, well, obviously where I can, sometimes you get emotional and you kind of forget about other people's situations. But when it comes to trauma dumping and people say, oh, like, in fact, no, I have had people say, oh, you know, so-and-so's died in my family. Like, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. And because the way I'm reading what they're typing, obviously you can't hear tone, but the way they're typing, it's like they're upset. And then I say something to try and comfort, and it backfires because they're like, you know, you have no idea what that person did to me or this, that. And I'm like, well, why are you putting me in this position where, you know, if I don't offer you any condolences, I'm a shit cunt as far as everybody else is concerned. I do offer my condolences, and I try to say something that's not cliche, and I'm still a shit cunt. Like, just don't fucking bring that shit to the table. You know, if you're not in a position where you want to talk about it, don't fucking bring it up. We're not here for that. I'm not here to be depressed by your shit. I've got my own shit going on. The whole thing about the content creation, that really is having a space where people can just come and fucking get away from shit. Yes, I do sometimes talk about serious stuff as it's happening. Like, obviously, we covered the Johnny Depp trial. I spoke about the school shooting. I spoke about the Buffalo incident briefly. I try not to dwell on things, but obviously when it's things that are closer to home that I've been directly affected by, things that I've maybe got a bit more knowledge or personal experience over, I'll spend time, because I don't think it's healthy to just not talk about stuff. Like, I know people say don't bring politics and religion in here, and it's like, no, I think there is a time and a place for those things, because we're all governed by politics. We might not know much about it, but it doesn't change the fact that they fucking exist, and that we are affected by it. But ultimately, I've got people in my community that are trans. I've got people that are gay. So if we're talking about things happening in the States or the UK or wherever, where there's movements to try to demonize people from these groups, just for existing, then I'm gonna fucking talk about it. It's my place to talk about it. But and you have the option of leaving. When I'm streaming, unless I'm like, do you know what, I can't handle this, and then it just looks like I'm a diva. It's like someone's dropped a fucking bombshell, and I'm like, do you know what, I can't carry on streaming now. And that's not fair on anybody. So just think, you know, not everybody knows your situation. You might know it, and you might have been in a community long enough, but unless you tell people your full situation, which I would never expect anybody to do, like, there's people that do open up to me. Most I've known for a long time. Some I've known for a shorter period of time, but they just feel comfortable telling me stuff. But that's done usually privately and in a confidential manner, and it'll only get mentioned if they mention it publicly, and then I'll either ask or I'll just use the information that they've shared publicly, and until such time as anything they've told me additional has been brought in. Like, I don't talk about people, like, you know, sometimes there's things people tell me, and I won't tell anyone unless they've said it's okay for you. Like, for example, some people know that obviously my partner and I talk about stuff, and they're like, you know, you can mention this to Heather, but if they haven't given me that permission, then I don't, you know. That's their place, that's their story to tell if they want. But yeah, so just don't trauma dump. It's shit, and it doesn't make anybody feel good. It doesn't make you feel better for doing it, and it just brings everyone down to a level where realistically, if you've come on to Twitch or whatever platform, because real life is too much, then I don't understand why you would want to share it publicly. But anyway, so moving on to slightly lighter stuff now. Self promo. The I'm streaming now, or I'm going to be streaming at 6 o'clock, or just mentioning your stream, unless you fucking come in on a raid and you were asked how your stream went and what you were up to, blah blah blah. Don't fucking mention it. Or unless the streamer says to you, I haven't seen you on for a while. You know, if the streamer fucking engages you in your streaming stuff, then by all means, but don't offer that up freely. No one fucking likes a self-promo twat. And it doesn't matter if you're new to the community or if you've been established there for a long time. Don't mention your fucking stream unless asked. It looks needy. It looks like you're a beggar, hoping that the people that are there, and it never works anyways, but just don't do it. It makes you look like a twat and it makes the streamer feel awkward, because not every streamer will call you out. I found it hard with some people because I know for a fact if I call you out, that's it, you're fucking gone. And I weigh up in my mind, like, obviously if it's every other fucking sentence you say, then yeah, I've got no choice. But, you know, just don't do it. It's shite. And then off the back of the self-promo is the departures announcement. Like, so-and-so is on, so I'm off to go watch them now. That's fucking shit as well. That makes the streamer feel like shit, that you were good enough to have these people spend time with you until someone better comes along. It's like, fuck off. You don't need to tell people why you're going. Most of the time, unless I know the people really well, most of the time I don't even say tra. Well, bye. A bit of the Welsh lingo fucking coming in now. Yeah, I just fucking I go, or I'll just lurk. I don't announce I lurk. If I've been actively chatting with folk, and then because I know it makes me feel awkward if someone's been really engaged in chat with me and then all of a sudden they stop replying. I'm like, where'd they go? So I'll normally say, right, I'm gonna lurk while I'm watching a movie or having food, or we've got to nip to the shops or whatever. If I haven't been chatting to you, I don't announce my presence in your fucking stream by doing lurk. I wasn't talking, so I'm not like I was lurking from the start. Do you know what I mean? And don't fucking read into this as being an anti-lurk fucking rant, because it's not. Lurkers are just as valuable as chatters. The point I'm trying to make is, if you're lurking, just fucking lurk. You don't need. If you've got no intention in chatting in chat, don't fucking post lurk in chat. It's annoying. That's gonna come off as pretentious as fuck. But I say this on stream. These are my views. I'm not splitting the room here. There's no that you don't go into a shop that you're not gonna buy in and open the door and say, "I'm not buying anything from you today." You just walk fucking past it. Like, you don't need to say, "I'm here, but I'm not here." Like, a lot of times I see smaller. I'm loath to use the small streamer because I am small as well. But like, let's say people starting out, and I see them do it all the time, and it's like lurk while live, or they'll say lurk because you'll mention their name, and then people that might be curious be like, "Oh, that's a cool name," and then they go into the profile, "Oh, they're streaming, oh cool." So it's just a free shout out basically. And it's just etiquette that you don't, those behaviors are not good behaviors. Like, if you've been chatting away like fuck and you don't want the streamer to feel awkward because you're not going to be replying anymore, that's fine. But you don't need to announce when you weren't fucking talking. You know, it's like that meme, nobody, and then whatever. You know, but absolutely do not fucking tell someone that you're about to go stream or that you're gonna go watch somebody else stream, because that just makes the streamer feel shit. Like a common one, if I'm about to stream, if I have been chatting, I'm just gonna be like, right, that's me away. I've got some stuff to do. I'll keep you up in the background, because when I'm streaming, I normally have at least 2 people tabbed anyway. Often because if I'm gonna be finishing early, or if it's just generally to support people that like, because quite often 2 of my favorite streamers stream at the same time I do. So I can't be there, so I'm there in spirit. I have them, but at no point, like, sometimes I do play fuck with them, and I might do like some sound commands, or just, you know, say something when I can't hear them, like call them a twat, and then leave it at that. But they know the score there. It's not me announcing that I'm live. It's just, I don't know. I like playing fuck with people, but not trolling in the shitty troll way, you know? Anyway, speaking of trolls, the ones that, like, so there's several different types. Obviously, you've got the really hateful cunts, instant ban, just get rid of them. You've got the ones where sometimes, like, I'm not too sure, because again, language barriers and age gaps and things are maybe acceptable in different cultures. So sometimes people will say something that might come across as quite rude, and I'll question it a bit more. I'm just like, are you being a dick on purpose? Or, you know, like, I won't say that, but I'm like, I'll question it to kind of figure out what their motives are. But again, I just don't see the point in them. Like, a common thing I'm seeing a lot lately is people that are playing games for the first time. Like the first time ever, not just on stream, just ever. And you've got folk coming in dropping spoilers. Like, I remember I went back to replay The Last of Us, and spoilers, for the most part, they don't faze me that much. Like, I don't really mind. Certain things, yeah, like if they're proper, like, big, impactful moments, don't spoil it. But quite often, if someone's seen a film and I know I'm not gonna be catching that for a long time, I'll normally ask, like, oh, what happened? But I had someone come in telling me that something happened to a certain character in the sequel. I'm like, oh, well, you know, I wasn't that pissed off by it. I was more annoyed at the fact someone thought that it was funny. But there were people that were in my channel that, obviously, if I had ended up playing the sequel shortly after, they wouldn't have watched, because they'd already done the first one, so it was fine watching me do that. But I've still never finished it anyway. But the point being, like, there's a lot of people that are seeing folk doing it, and it's not just about the streamer. Like I said, for me, I don't really give that much of a fuck. But there's people that are viewing, because there's been a couple games where some streamers that I watch, they've been playing them, and if they're proper sort of story driven games, like Horizon, Forbidden West is one, because I haven't played that. I have finished the first one. I need to go back and do the Frozen Wilds DLC. Or like Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, or Life is Strange 3. Stuff like that. Tell me why. I've had them tabbed, but I've had the volume off, and I've tried to stay away from seeing any of the game, because obviously those types of games I wanna see unfold. Like The Quarry is another one. I've had people tabbed, but I've not actively sat and listened or watched. I've had them muted, because I want to experience those things for myself, you know. But then you've got the other trolls that come in, and I think it's a lot worse for women. Absolutely, because the types of comments, a lot worse for women and anyone within the LGBTQ plus tags or people of color. Very, very different sides of trolls and hate that are apparent there. But just commenting on people's appearances, you just don't do it unless it's a compliment, but not a shady, like, creepy fucking thing. Like, you know, the amount of times I've had people obviously say you're bald. I'm like, I fucking know, I shaved my head. This is not fucking groundbreaking news. Like, it's not like I woke up thinking I had a full fucking head of hair. And Pedro was the last one that did that. But I've had dozens over the years with that shit. And it's like, and you're a cunt, so what? Obviously you see it with the female streamers. They've got big boobs, and you can't expect them to be in a fucking turtleneck in the summer. Like, they are gonna have to show some cleavage. They, you know, it's not like they've got the tits out. And then there's just all the CD fucking comments and shit there. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, let them live. Are they harming anybody? No. Guaranteed, if they were getting really hot, like if they got like me, when I get too hot, I get fucking grouchy as fuck. So absolutely, I'm gonna be shitty with you. If I can't be comfortable, like, do you know what I mean? But you know, you've got this stuff like that, or like you look really tired, or smile, it might never happen. Just all that fucking stupid bullshit. Just if you're not there to enjoy watching someone play or do something, fuck off. Because how can you enjoy your sort of few messages before you get banned? Like, how is that enjoyable? Although the flip side to that is Twitch needs to fucking, if you're banned, you shouldn't be allowed to continue watching. End of. Once you're gone, you're gone. I didn't cover this one, and I probably should have done it sooner, but again, they're not in any particular order. But tech issues are one of the biggest hates I've got. Nothing can ruin a stream more than my fucking bitrate flatlining, or like dropping frames so that it's stuttering all over the fucking place. And I've just realised this episode is going to be my longest one yet, but so I'm really sorry. Obviously, when you talk about things that you're passionate about, right? But yeah, fucking audio. Every time there's a fucking Windows update, OBS is like, right, well, let's just disable everything. The amount of times where I can hear stuff and chat can't, and vice versa, that fucks me off. Because a lot of that you can't emulate, you can't find out until you've actually gone live. And again, me being the sort of perfectionist that I am, I get stressed and I'm like, this is a fucking scuffed stream, this is ruined, this is bullshit. Like, that person subscribed and they can't hear the fucking alert. That's not on. And I think maybe 4 times I've had the blue screen of death. Like the Windows 10 equivalent of the blue screen of death, where it just gone, and you're like, fuck. And usually that kind of shit happens when you've had a big raid, or something's going on, something big's going on, like there's a lot of people chatting and stuff, and you come back and they're gone. Usually it's raids for me. And it's like people that are raiding in because they finished up for the night because they're in Australia or New Zealand. So I didn't even get a chance to really engage them much about their fucking stream because they've had to shoot off to bed, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, this just makes it look so shit, so unprofessional. And I know for a fact for every single streamer, audio, internet, OBS, it's just pants. Like, I'm on Virgin Broadband, so their service isn't brilliant. I do. There was a period where typically I could set my watch by issues. Like, normally I'd get issues around about 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4. And it would last for maybe like 5 minutes tops each time. And then progressively it got worse to the point where it was like every day. I think I had the week off, or I had a good few days off anyway. And I was streaming a lot because I needed to hit the average hours for the offset payouts, you know, because like the localized pricing. And literally every day my stream was just fucking up, and I was just like, the following day then, my anxiety was spiked because I'm just like, what is the point of me even doing this? But then the only way to know if it is going to play up is by going on. You can't tell otherwise, because everything else was working fine. You know, like Netflix on the TV's working fine, my phone's working fine. It's OBS and whatever else on top of it. And obviously there are times when it is Twitch's end. You'll never get an admission of that, but there's issues on Twitch's end. And yeah, it got to the point, like, I haven't finished Terminator Salvation because every time I've tried to stream that, my connection was shite. So it just stressed me the fuck out. And then that, of course, leads into the next one, the anxiety, you know, where just even thinking about streaming it makes you feel sick. You just, you know, it is so hard to hit that start streaming button at times, you know, and it's thinking, right, what game should I do? What fun stuff can I try to bring to the table? What if this doesn't work? What if I have the same issue as I had last time, especially with things like hate raids and stuff like that? Thankfully, I've not experienced any of that. I have had follow bots, but thankfully I've got a button set up on my touch portal which helped me nip that in the bud real quick. But you know, there's just so many things, and then, you know, quite often there'll be times where I'm struggling to sleep, and then streaming kind of factors into that as well, because I'm like, you know, I need to be in a good place mentally for a stream to succeed, because if I'm not in a good place mentally, everyone that's watching is going to sense that, and they don't want to be around for that. And then there's just all the other stuff, and 9 times out of 10 I would be able to talk myself around and be like, no, go for it. And quite often it used to be the case that the days I really, really didn't want to stream turned out to be the best days. But not so much lately. Usually it's, I wish I'd listened to my gut. I wish I hadn't streamed, because I wasn't feeling it. And that's the thing sometimes, because it's like, that might be the first time someone encounters you, and then based on that first impression, it's like, have you just pissed on your chips, and have you just lost that person for good? But then there's also the flip side to that. If I don't stream today, what if there's people that, you know, like say there's a particular holiday in America, so people are more likely to be able to check you out. You know, there's just so many things, and it's like you're just constantly thinking, like, what if this, what if that, what if... Some of it is productive, some of it is counterproductive. and then quite often it works out better. The less thought that you've put into it, sometimes the more successful it is. Like I've typically found every time I've tried to hype up a stream, like, you know, a charity stream or a particular celebration, that it's not been anywhere near as good as I had expected. Like the turnout, you know, not even talking about money, just, you know, people that you kind of always thought would be there that weren't. Like, that sounds shitty and I don't mean it that way, but like, usually, you know, your regular viewers, and you know typically that they'll always be there for the most part, and usually they're the type of people that if they can't be there for a special occasion, they'll message you privately and just be like, look, I'm really sorry, I hope it goes well, but, you know, I've got plans or something like that. But there'd be nothing like that, and it would just be like, what's this? I think that's part of the reason why I would never do a subathon, because part of me thinks, well, it looks like I'm expecting subs, which I don't. But then at the same time, it's like, well, if someone's like, oh, how did that subathon go? And it's like, yeah, I got none. It's just kind of fucking embarrassing, like, you know? And I've always been quite a modest person in that sense. I'm like, well, if I don't shout about things happening and they don't happen, then no one's any the wiser. Whereas if I've made it public that there's this massive, you know, thing that is meant to be taking place, and it just fizzles, everybody knows. Everyone's like, oh, did you see that fucking in the IT crowd with Arsenal? You see that ludicrous display last night? So yeah, it's just anxiety is a bitch. And I don't care what anyone says. That is probably the first hurdle of most streamers' days, is getting past that, to just hit the fucking button in the first place. Because you can't have tech issues, really. Well, I suppose you could. Your PC might not turn on. But all of the other issues can't really happen until you've hit that fucking live button, you know? So I think we're down to our last two. So the next one, of course, everybody's favorite, the GFX artists. You know, if you post it, you're going live on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, and you got all these fucking bot accounts and fucking bullshit invading your DMs, offering you fucking logos and designs, and, you know, you do get the ones that seem to be human. They reply to you. Like, I normally try to troll them for a little bit, until I get bored. But just, or like, you'll see, oh, wicked, I've had 5 new followers today on Twitter. You go and have a look, GFX artist, GFX artist, GFX artist. You look at the ones that the other people that they follow, and they're pretty much all people that you associate with in some shape or form in the Twitch space or YouTube or whatever. And you're just like, for fuck's sake. Because one of two things will happen there. They'll get banned for just being spammy cunts. So they'll unfollow you, of course, because their accounts have gone. Or they'll unfollow you like a week later, or maybe a little bit longer. Most of the ones, because I've kept an eye on some just out of curiosity, and most tend to drop off after about 7 days, 8 days. And it's just like, fuck off. Just leave me alone. If you're not going to interact with me on something other than your personal gain, then I don't want you around. And that segues quite nicely into the final one fakeness. And I see a lot of it. I've seen a lot of it, and I know I'll see a lot more of it. And it's the biggest fucking thing that I can't wrap my head around. I fucking hate it. I see it every single fucking day, and it makes me cringe. And I'm like, do you think I'm stupid? Like, are you trying to insult my intelligence that you don't think I can see through this? Or is it just that you're fucking stupid? So what I mean by this is, like, all these people that fucking blow smoke up your arse. Like, you know, shout outs are one thing, right? And I appreciate them, obviously, retweets of going lives or events and stuff like that. Brilliant. But there's a lot of people out there that they'll only do it because they're trying to get some gain for themselves. That if they're seen to be, say for example, if they perceive you as a bigger streamer to them or a bigger creator than them, they're trying to get in with your good graces in the hope that you might raid them or you might shout them out, or there might be some sort of crumbs, is how one cunt actually phrased it, who clearly was after personal gain from me. That's why he was subbing and doing all this stuff, was in the hope that, now I'll go into that in a sec, but you know, you've got these people that like, oh my god, this is the best creator ever, and then you never fucking see them. They're never in your fucking streams, and as far as you're aware, they've never been in your fucking streams. So it's like, how can you fucking say that? But they're just wanting the fucking like farming and the algorithm to just fucking pick them up because you hit like, and you're like, oh my god, thank you so much, I really appreciate your kind words. And then someone else sees it, and someone else, and then someone else. Like, there's been about 24 people, roughly, who have all played that kind of shit with me, and I know for a fact they've never been in my fucking stream. And it's not like I keep an eye on my viewers or anything like that. I just know, because of the way they talk, it's just in such a generic kind of way that you could be talking about any stream or streamer. It's like fucking horoscopes. They're so vague, but they, you know, if you look at it from a certain perspective, they nail it. Do you know what I mean? And there's so many people, and I see it where like they don't get what they feel they'll get from you, so they'll unfollow, or they'll continue to follow just in case the sun starts shining from your ass. But they see, oh, wait a minute, that person's interacting with this person. They've got a lot more followers. Their streams seem to be a bit busier, you know? There's a lot more going on here. So let's latch on to them. And they're like fucking... I don't even know what you would fucking call them, like barnacles, where they just fucking attach themselves. And it's like... from afar, you're like, do you think they're fucking stupid? Because I can fucking see through that. Your fucking fakery is as transparent as a pane of fucking glass, mate. Just fucking try and pull your tongue out of his fucking arsehole, mate. Jesus fucking Christ. Because I've seen it, there's certain people that I banter with, and then all of a sudden, these other people think that they can try to fucking emulate it. But the thing is, they never can, because it doesn't come from a place of being genuine. You can't fake the type of shit. You can't have the type of rapport that me or these other people have with others. Because ours is built on a foundation of truth, of reality, of fucking respect. Whereas all you other fucking little bastards are just... You just out for yourself. You're like, if I get in with this person, this leads me to this person, or this opportunity, or this and that and that. It's like, just fucking back off. The good thing is, the majority of people that I'm close with who I see this happen to as well, they know the score. They know exactly what's going on. Sorry, I'm having a drink because obviously I'm on a rant. But I don't understand how you can't, like, if you are a perpetrator of this, I don't understand how you can't see how fake you do come across as. And, like, you know, you disappear. You don't interact with anybody because it's on your terms, right? So you won't interact with all these other streamers and stuff because there's nothing to gain. They haven't been streaming for a while, so you back off because you know there's nothing to glean from that. You're not gonna get a raid if they're not streaming, and so you back off. And then when they come back, and you know, this isn't so much myself because I don't really do comebacks as such. I never really go anywhere, but the point being, like, someone will come back, like maybe had like some shit family stuff going on, or maybe they've had a kid, or you know, some other thing that has meant they've had to take an extended absence from the creator space, and then they come back and everyone floods to them because they've missed them, and the community's like, yes, we're fired up, they're back, it's back to how it was, kind of thing. And then these leeches fucking come out and like, you're back again, so let's see if I can use you this time. And I think that's the trouble, especially when you're so available online, where maybe, like for me, pretty much all my life is on Front Street. I don't keep anything terribly private, with the exception of some things. But I'm a very open book, and I'm proud of that. But that can be the dangerous side to it, where folk use that as an end to try to just, I don't know, like groom you in the hope that you're then going to be a stepping stone for them to, like, I don't know what they're trying to achieve. Like, you know, I'd be more inclined to rage you if you were just a fucking genuine person. But knowing that you're fucking fake, and there's been a few lately where, again, it's been so obvious, you know, and you see it. They discover a channel, they're all up in that business, and then after a while, just like with the ones on Twitter where they follow you and you haven't followed back, they lose interest because like, oh, well, they haven't been in my streams, they haven't raided me, they haven't subscribed to me. I subscribed the other day to them. I dropped bitties. I gave them a compliment, and they never came to my stream. Because they feel that you owe them if they've done something for you. And it doesn't work that way. Like, you don't watch a TV show and get pissed off that it doesn't watch you back. Like, if you enjoy it, you fucking enjoy it. Like, it just boggles my mind, and that is my list. But that's the biggest one. That's the one that I've seen very early on in this. The amount of people that have come and gone, and the majority of them it's because they've had ulterior motives, and it's like I'm not even, like, in my mind, I'm not even big enough for that shit to even be a factor in my life. Like, why are you? I'm a nobody. Fucking leave me alone. But then again, I think that's the other thing. It's like, you know how nits are attracted to clean hair, because you always think that it must be smelly to have like these little fucking mites in your fucking hair. But it's actually the ones with clean hair that get the infestations. And, you know, I know obviously me being follically challenged, it's ironic that I'm talking about hair, but I've got a beard. I think nits would live in there if they wanted to. But anyway, it's like that, isn't it? It's like the people that are good, the people that are genuine, that are honest, and they're just wholesome in their own way, they are the ones that attract the leeches and shit. because they're the ones people listen to. They're the ones people like. They're the ones. I mean, I don't even think I'm likable. I think for the most part, nobody can fucking stand me. But like, I'm fine with that because I'm honest and I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna be fake in the hope that I'm gonna further myself. I'd rather be hated for being how I am than loved for being something I'm not. Some famous person I think said that, or some wise person said that. Anyway, going back to topic. But yeah, it's like obviously they get attracted to these people that they think are good and pure in their motives and stuff, because they are more likely to get the wool, or you know, perception wise, they think they're more likely to have the wool pulled over their eyes. But we're actually smarter than you think. Obviously, it's one of those things. It's like Cypress Hill, on the Skull and Bones album, like the rap superstar or rock superstar, depending on which one you listen to. And it's always about the thing, the front that you've got to put on. Like, you don't know it until you're in it, but you got to be polite. You got to nod and smile, no matter what shit's going down. And I haven't got time for that. I'll gladly lose people for being outspoken and honest about something than have clingerons that just fucking add zero value to my life. And I think this past week, where I've been heavily fucking depressed, I think I'm at a point now where I'm gonna have to be quite zero tolerance. If you add to the negativity, you're gone. I'm getting rid of it. If you cause me any sort of stress, or if because of my ADHD or whatever, I hyperfixate on the negative shit around you, I'm not having you in my space. So I'm gonna, I am focusing, or I'm gonna focus at just reducing the size of my circles. Because I don't want to be involved in drama. I don't want to be involved in politics. I've lost connections because of certain drama and politics. And maybe they weren't as genuine as they initially were in the first place, because again, they could have approached me rather than just fucking cutting me out. But maybe that's something for another day. The point here is, if I'm not looking for personal gain, but if you're a detriment to my mental health or just my everyday sense of being, then why should I keep you in that? Like, if every interaction we have just adds a strain on my mind, you're not a benefit to me. And I don't understand how I can be a benefit to you, because I'm not in a good place whenever I interact with you. So, anyway, that's exhausting. So that's the most I've spoken at length on a podcast in a long fucking time. So again, just to kind of quickly cover the points, I'm going to read them in no particular order again. So we had the self-promo, the follow for follow, the streaming is easy bullshit, the tech issues, departure announcement, trauma dumping, trolls, GFX artists, the anxiety, and of course, the fakeness. But if you made it to the end of this, well done. Obviously, if you're in the creator space and you have other ideas that kind of link in with this, other factors that you hate about streaming or content creation, then feel free to let me know. Obviously, I can keep it anonymous. If you want to mark it for me to shout your name out on the podcast, then cool. If you don't flag it for you to be named, I'll just assume that you want to remain anonymous. You can come up with a fake name if you want. Just give me something funny I can use. Or if you're not from the creator space, but you're a viewer, or you're somehow involved, like if your partner is a creator or whatever, and you have a perspective on it, then again, drop me some feedback. It's something I'd like to discuss, because I know how I think and feel about it, and I know how several others, but streamer Twitter is one of those things. If you put it up as a poll, it gets very diluted, and then you get loads of bitching and arguing and stuff. And this isn't about that. This isn't about creating a rift. It's not about creating a war. These are things that I hate. You can't tell me what I can and can't hate, because this is all subjective. There'll be things you guys hate, and that's what I'd like to hear, because there might be things that I do hate that I hadn't even considered. Like, maybe that they don't happen as often, so they're not as big a deal. And obviously they might be things that are worth talking about. But yeah, so that's another episode down, and hopefully I can get another one in the bank ready for the next week. So that's me signing off, and I'll see you next Tuesday.